I shouldn't have survived that crash. That's not dramatic exaggeration. That's what the cop said while staring at the wreck, like it personally offended physics. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It started on I-89, about 30 miles outside Burlington. I was driving back from my dad's place after a fight that went nuclear. You know those arguments where nothing gets resolved, just old wounds reopen and toss around like grenades? Yeah, that kind. It was close to 1:30 a.m. when the fog rolled in. Not drifted, not slowly built up. It slammed into the highway like a wall. 1 second I could see the taillights of a semi about a quarter mile ahead. The next second, everything disappeared. Just white, endless white. I eased off the gas. The speedometer dropped from 70 to 50. The radio started crackling. I tapped it. Static turned into something almost like whispering. I shut it off. The fog got thicker. It didn't move like fog normally does. It pulsed, subtle, slow expansions and contractions like it was breathing. I rolled my window down a crack to see if it was just inside my head. Cold air rushed in, and I swear to God it smelled metallic, like blood on a coin. That's when I realized something weird. I couldn't see my own hood anymore. The visibility wasn't just low. It was wrong. My headlights were on, high beams and all, but the light wasn't cutting through anything. It just bounced back at me, like I was shining them into a mirror made of smoke. I gripped the wheel tighter. Just stay in your lane, I muttered. Follow the reflectors. Except the reflectors were gone. The painted lines were gone. The road felt softer. My tires didn't hum on asphalt anymore. They rolled quietly, like I was driving over packed dirt. My chest tightened. That's when the car behind me honked. Loud, aggressive. I jumped and glanced in the rearview mirror. 2 headlights glowed through the fog. Too close, like they'd been riding my bumper the whole time. I hadn't seen them before. I flicked my hazards on, signaling I was slowing down. The headlights didn't adjust. They stayed locked at the same distance, unmoving. Then they flickered, just once. And in that flicker, I saw something that made my blood go cold. There wasn't a car behind me. The headlights were attached to something taller, higher off the ground than any sedan. They were spaced too far apart, and there was no grille between them, just darkness. The honk came again, but it didn't sound like a horn anymore. It sounded strained, distorted, like something trying to imitate the sound of a car. I hit the brakes. Hard. My tires locked up. The world spun sideways. The headlights behind me surged forward. There was no impact, but I felt something slam into the back of my car anyway. The rear windshield shattered inward. I screamed. The steering wheel jerked violently to the right, and then I was flipping, metal screaming, glass exploding, my body weightless. Then, silence. When I opened my eyes, I was upright, still in the driver's seat, still buckled in, engine running, dashboard intact, no cracked glass, no deployed airbags. The car was perfectly fine. The fog outside was thicker than ever. I sat there, breathing hard. What the hell? My hands were shaking. I twisted around slowly. The back windshield was intact. No damage. No sign of impact. No other headlights. The highway stretched ahead of me. Or at least, it looked like it did. But something fell off. The road was too straight. Too empty. No mile markers. No exit signs. No reflective posts. Just endless pavement swallowed by white. I checked my phone. No signal. Time, 1:33 a.m. That didn't make sense. The crash had felt like minutes. Maybe longer. I swallowed hard and eased my foot onto the gas. The car moved forward smoothly. The fog swallowed everything beyond 20 feet. After about 5 minutes of driving, I realized something else. I hadn't passed a single car. Not one. No taillights. No oncoming traffic. Nothing. Interstate 89 is never that empty. Never. My chest tightened again. That's when I saw it. A shape standing in the middle of the road ahead. I slammed the brakes instinctively. The car skidded but stopped just short. The figure didn't move. It was human-shaped. Tall. Arms hanging at its sides. Head tilted slightly. I leaned forward, Squinting, it looked like a woman. Long hair hanging limp. White dress clinging to her frame. Classic horror movie silhouette. Move! I shouted through the windshield. She didn't react. Didn't flinch. Didn't breathe. The fog swirled around her ankles. Slowly, like it was pooling there. Then she lifted her head, and I saw her face. It wasn't detailed. It wasn't grotesque. It was blank. No eyes. No mouth. Just smooth skin where features should have been. My heart slammed against my ribs. I threw the car into reverse. The engine revved, but the car didn't move. Again, just like before. The faceless woman took one step forward. Slow, deliberate. My headlights flickered, then shut off completely. The only light left was a faint glow of the dashboard. She was close enough now that I could see her dress wasn't fabric. It was fog. It moved unnaturally, shifting and reforming like smoke trying to hold a shape. She reached out and placed her hand on the hood. The metal instantly frosted over. Ice spread across it in branching patterns. Then she leaned closer to the windshield, and where her face should have been, I saw my reflection. Not hers, mine, except my reflection was screaming. I wasn't, but the version of me in the glass was clawing at the inside of the windshield, like he was trapped behind it. "Let me out," he mouthed silently. The woman's head tilted again, curious, almost gentle. Then the windshield cracked, not from impact, from inside, thin fractures spreading outward from the reflection's hands. I scrambled for the door handle. Locked. I tried the passenger side. Locked. The temperature inside the car dropped fast. My breath fogged in front of me. The woman leaned closer, and the reflection of me stopped screaming. He looked directly at her and smiled. The windshield exploded inward. I threw my arms up to shield my face. Cold air rushed in like a tidal wave, and everything went black again. When I woke up this time, I was in the car. I was standing on the shoulder of the interstate. Paramedics were shouting. Red and blue lights cut through thinning fog. My car was upside down 20 feet away. Actually wrecked this time. Crushed roof. Shattered glass. Rear end caved in. A cop grabbed my shoulders. "Sir, can you hear me?" I blinked at him. "Yeah." "You're lucky as hell," he said. "No other vehicles involved. Looks like you lost control." I stared at him. "No other vehicles?" He shook his head. "No skid marks from anyone else. No debris. Just you." I looked past him at the road. Clear. No fog now. Perfect visibility. Normal highway. But something caught my eye. About 50 yards down the road, standing near the guardrail, a woman in a white dress, facing away from us, hair hanging still. One of the paramedics followed my gaze. "You see someone you know?" I looked back. The shoulder was empty. No woman, no dress, just guardrail and trees. I swallowed hard. "Yeah," I whispered. "I think I do." That night in the hospital, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that reflection, smiling, not scared, not desperate, like he'd won something. Around 3:12 a.m., the heart monitor beside my bed flatlined for exactly 3 seconds. The nurse rushed in, panicked, but when she looked at the screen, it was normal again. "Probably a glitch," she said. But I saw it for those 3 seconds. The monitor wasn't showing my heartbeat. It was showing someone else's, slower, heavier, and not sync with my pulse. When I finally drifted off, I dreamed of fog filling my hospital room, the faceless woman standing at the foot of my bed, and my reflection sitting up inside the mirror across from me. I wasn't even supposed to be driving that night. It was one of those last-minute decisions you regret before the engine even warms up. My shift at the warehouse ran late, and by the time I clocked out, it was already past midnight. The forecast said patchy fog, which is Weather Channel language for "you'll probably be fine." I should have known better. Highway 16 cuts through miles of nothing. No gas stations. No houses. Just woods and long stretches of cracked asphalt that look like they haven't seen maintenance since the early 2000s. At night, it feels like you're driving off the edge of the world. The fog rolled in about 20 minutes after I hit the highway. Not slowly, not gradually. It just appeared. 1 second I could see the tree line. The next second the world shrank to 10 feet in front of my hood. I leaned forward over the steering wheel like that would magically improve my vision. Relax, I muttered to myself. You've driven worse. But I hadn't. Not like this. The fog wasn't drifting across the road. It was sitting on it. Thick, heavy, still, like it was waiting. The first weird thing wasn't visual. It was sound. The road went quiet. No tire hum. No wind against the windows. Even the engine sounded muted, like someone threw a blanket over reality. I checked my speed. 45. It felt like 10. My phone buzzed in the cup holder, and I nearly jumped out of my skin. Unknown number. I let it ring. Then it stopped. 2 seconds later, it rang again. Same number. No caller ID. I answered without thinking. Hello? Nothing. No static. No breathing. Just silence. Then, very faintly, I heard something that made my stomach twist. My own voice. Turn around. The line went dead. I stared at the screen. Call duration, 007. I laughed nervously. Very funny. Probably some glitch. Probably my exhausted brain playing tricks. That's when I realized something worse. I didn't remember passing the mile marker for 42. I should have hit it 5 minutes ago. I slowed down more. The fog pressed closer. Then headlights appeared in front of me. I slammed the brakes instinctively. The lights weren't moving. They weren't approaching. They were just there, floating in the fog. At first, I thought it was a car parked sideways across the road. But as I rolled closer, I saw there was no vehicle attached to them. Just two beams suspended in gray air, about 4 feet off the ground. My pulse spiked. Nope, I whispered. I shifted into reverse. The car didn't move. I pressed the gas harder. The engine revved. The tires spun. But I wasn't going anywhere. It felt like the road itself had locked me in place. The floating headlights flickered. Then they tilted slightly, like a head cocking in curiosity. I felt it, that sensation, like something was studying me. The headlights blinked out, and my car shot backwards suddenly, tires screeching as if the road had released me. I lost control. The wheel jerked left. The back end fishtailed, and I saw something in the fog to my right. A figure, standing inches from my window. I screamed and overcorrected. The car flipped. Glass shattered. Metal screamed. The world spun into chaos. And then everything stopped. When I came to, I was upside down. Blood ran into my eyes. The airbag hung deflated beside me like a dead animal. The fog outside was thicker than ever. It pressed against the broken windows like hands. I fumbled for my seatbelt and dropped hard onto the roof. Pain shot through my shoulder. I crawled out through what used to be the passenger window. The road was gone. Not damaged. Not cracked. Gone. There was no asphalt beneath my feet. Just damp ground. Soft like soil. I turned in slow circles. No trees. No guardrails. No highway. Just endless fog in every direction. And my car, upside down, sitting in the middle of nothing. That's not possible. I muttered. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. No signal bars. Still ringing. Unknown number. My hands shook as I answered. This time there was breathing. Slow. Wet. Like air moving through a throat that wasn't shaped right. Hello. I whispered. Then I heard tires on gravel. Close. Behind me, I turned slowly. Headlights cut through the fog. A car was idling about 20 feet away. Its engine low and steady. The driver's door creaked open, and someone stepped out. I couldn't see their face. Just a silhouette. Same height as me. Same build. Same jacket. He stood there for a long time. Then he spoke. Why'd you take my road? My throat went dry. I don't know what you're talking about. He tilted his head, the exact same way I do when I'm confused. This isn't yours, he said calmly. You crossed. Crossed what? He didn't answer. Instead, he started walking toward me, each step too smooth, too controlled. The fog moved around him like it belonged to him. I backed up until my heel hit the overturned car. He stopped a few feet away, close enough now that I could see his face. And it was mine, not similar, not almost. Mine, same scar above the eyebrow from when I was 10, same crooked nose, same tired eyes, except his were clearer, sharper, like he'd slept for years. "You weren't supposed to see the lights," he said softly. "I didn't mean to." I stammered. He looked past me at the wrecked car. "You damaged the entrance." "What entrance?" He smiled, and that smile didn't belong to me. It was wider, stretched too far. "Highway 16 doesn't exist at night," he said. "It's a seam." A cold wave rolled through me. "You're lying." He shook his head slowly. "You drove through when the fog sealed it. Now it thinks you're me." My stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" "It means," he said, stepping closer, "one of us has to stay." The fog thickened around us, swirling faster. I heard engines starting in the distance, dozens of them, headlights flickering inside the mist, like traffic building up in another world. "You broke it," he whispered. "So you fix it." His hand grabbed my arm, ice cold, and suddenly I wasn't standing beside the car anymore. I was inside it, driver's seat upright, seatbelt on, engine running, fog ahead, completely unharmed, like the crash never happened, except in the rear-view mirror. I saw him standing in the road behind me, watching, smiling, and the radio turned on by itself. A calm voice said, "Welcome back to Highway 16. Visibility near zero. Drive safe." Then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered without thinking, and my own voice whispered, "Turn around." I don't remember the moment we hit the guardrail. I remember the fog. That's the part that won't leave me. It wasn't normal fog, not the soft, drifting kind you see rolling over a lake at sunrise. This stuff was thick, heavy, like the air had weight, like it was pressing against the windshield, trying to get in. It was around 2:14 a.m. on Highway 47, somewhere outside a nowhere town in upstate Pennsylvania. No streetlights, no other cars, just me, my little sister Ava in the passenger seat, and that suffocating gray wall swallowing the road ahead. I should have pulled over. I know that now, but when you're 26 and tired and stubborn, you tell yourself you're in control. You crank the radio louder. You squint harder at the faded yellow lines. You pretend the way the fog moves, almost breathing across the asphalt, is just your imagination. Ava kept saying she felt weird. Not sick, just weird, like someone was watching us from outside the car. I laughed at her, told her it was just deer or raccoons. But deep down, I felt it too. That sensation you get when you walk past someone staring at you in public. That prickling heat between your shoulder blades. Except we were alone. Or we were supposed to be. The first sign something was wrong wasn't the guardrail. It was the headlights. They showed up behind us out of nowhere. No gradual glow. No distant beams cutting through mist. 1 second there was nothing. The next second, 2 bright white lights were right on our bumper, close enough to make me flinch. I checked the rear view mirror. Couldn't see the car, just the lights. No shape, no grill, no outline. Just 2 floating orbs burning through the fog. "Is that guy tailgating you?" Ava asked. I didn't answer, because the lights weren't moving like a car. They weren't steady. They swayed slightly, side to side, like they were walking. I hit the gas. The engine groaned, and the speedometer climbed to 65. The lights stayed the same distance behind us, perfectly locked. I switched lanes. The lights didn't drift. They adjusted instantly. No tire sound. No engine noise. Just silent pursuit. "Jake," Ava whispered. "They're not right." That's when the radio cut out. Not static. Not a signal drop. It just went dead mid-song. And the fog got thicker. So thick the beams from my own headlights started reflecting back at me, like I was driving inside a tunnel made of light. The floating lights behind us flickered once. Then they disappeared. Just gone. I exhaled for the first time in what felt like minutes. "That was messed up," Ava said, trying to laugh it off. And then something ran across the road. I slammed the brakes. The tires screamed. The steering wheel jerked hard left in my hands. I never saw what it was. Just a shadow. Tall, wrong-shaped, too upright to be an animal. The car spun. I remember the guardrail rushing toward us. Metal crunching. Glass exploding inward. Ava screaming my name. Then the world flipped, and everything went black. When I woke up, the fog was still there. That was the first thing I noticed. It hadn't lifted. It hadn't thinned. It was thicker, clinging to the broken windshield like condensation on a coffin lid. The car was on its side. My seatbelt dug into my shoulder. There was blood in my mouth. I turned my head slowly. Ava. No response. She was hanging sideways in her seat, unconscious, hair matted with blood near her temple. My heart started pounding, so hard I thought I might pass out again. I unbuckled and dropped onto the crumpled driver's side door, which was now the floor. Pain shot up my ribs, but I ignored it. I crawled over to her. Her chest was moving, barely. Relief hit me so hard I almost cried. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Crunching on gravel outside the car. I froze. We were in the middle of nowhere. No houses. No traffic. No headlights. Just fog and footsteps circling the vehicle. Crunch. Pause. Crunch. Pause. Like someone inspecting damage after a hit-and run. Hello? I called out, voice cracking. The footsteps stopped. Dead silent. I strained to hear breathing. Movement. Anything. Then something dragged across the roof of the car. Long. Metallic. Like fingernails down a chalkboard. The entire frame vibrated. Ava stirred weakly. Jake! It's okay, I whispered, though it absolutely wasn't. The dragging sound moved toward the back window, then toward the hood, then stopped directly above me. The roof dented inward slightly, just a little, as if someone leaned their full weight on it. The metal groaned. Get away from the car. I shouted, panic breaking through. The dent deepened. Another inch. Another. And then 3 slow knocks, directly above my head. Knock, knock, knock. Not random. Intentional. Measured. Ava started crying softly. Who was that? I didn't answer, because I knew it wasn't someone. It was whatever had been following us, whatever those headlights belonged to, and it hadn't crashed. My phone was somehow still in my pocket. Screen cracked, but functional. No signal. Of course. I turned on the flashlight. Bad idea. The beam cut through the fog outside the shattered windshield, and for half a second, I saw a silhouette standing 20 feet away. Tall, too thin, head tilted slightly to one side, watching. The light flickered, and it was gone, but the fog moved where it had been standing, swirling inward, like something had just stepped back. Jake, I don't want to be here, Ava whispered. I know. The roof dent slowly rose back to its original shape. Whatever had been pressing on it stepped off. The footsteps resumed, this time moving away from the car, toward the road. Crunch, 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 then silence. I waited 5 full minutes before moving. Every second stretched like an hour. Finally, I forced myself to act. We couldn't stay in the wreck. If another car came through the fog, they'd never see us. I kicked out the cracked windshield glass, helping Ava crawl out after me. The air outside was colder than it should have been. Not winter cold. Dead cold, like standing in a walk-in freezer. The road looked wrong. The guardrail wasn't there. There was no visible damage to the pavement. No skid marks. No debris from the crash. Just fog, and the car, on its side, like it had been placed there carefully. Where's the rail? Ava asked. My stomach dropped. We should have torn a chunk out of it. It should have been twisted, broken, but the edge of the road was intact, as if we never hit it. That's when I noticed something worse. There were no trees. Highway 47 is surrounded by forest, thick woods on both sides. But now, nothing. Just endless fog beyond the shoulder, like the world stopped 20 feet out, and the footsteps came back. This time from inside the fog ahead of us, not circling, approaching, slow, deliberate, like it knew we were exposed now. I grabbed Ava's hand. "We run on 3, I said. "To where?" she asked. I didn't have an answer. The footsteps didn't sound rushed, didn't sound aggressive, just patient. 1, crunch. 2, crunch. 3, we ran into the fog, and the road disappeared beneath our feet.